It's episode 73 of the Hodgepodge podcast. I'm your host, Doug.
And I'm Dirty A. As the name suggests, we're going to talk about a hodgepodge of topics from movies, music, TV, and other pop culture events.
And on this episode, we'll be discussing the films Ex Machina, as well as a early review of Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. You can reach us at the Hodgepodge Podcast at gmail.com or over on our website, thehodgepodgepodcast.com, or look us up on iTunes or YouTube and subscribe. This one's a little late, isn't it?
About a week. I mean, it's
all right.
For our standards, I suppose it is a little late.
We didn't go to see Paul Blart 2, so maybe that's why we haven't had an episode.
You didn't go see Paul Blart 2. I saw it twice, once on your behalf.
How did we like it?
Oh, man. It's a treasure.
God. Those movies prove that there is no God. So we're mere hours away from seeing Avengers 2.
So let's get this thing rolling.
Because we're starving. We want to go eat dinner. But we're about to see Avengers 2.
Spoiler alert, we'll like it.
Yeah, probably. It's interesting. It started out around 80-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, ooh, that's not good. And it's gotten down to like, what did I say it was? 70-something, 73, something like that.
No, maybe higher than that.
I think it is 73. It's right around like where Interstellar ended up.
It's still a very solid rating. It's just kind of maybe not what we've come to expect from the franchise at this point. But
someone I know saw it on the internet, wink, wink, and he told me, he was like, you'll probably give it a B. So we'll see.
I mean, that's fine.
I'm looking forward to it.
They can't all be golden eggs.
But as far as comic book news goes, I think our last episode was our Star Wars and then Batman, Superman talk about the trailers. And as you pointed out right before we started this, literally that day that we recorded it,
an hour after we
finished, the new Fantastic Four trailer came out. I watched it. It looks decent.
It looks fine, and we finally got the first glimpse of Doctor Doom.
He didn't look terrible.
Sorry, Doom, not Doctor Doom.
He didn't look terrible,
and he didn't. But it's that the look was never in question, right? So it's the story.
Yeah, it's a script.
So a trailer really doesn't mean anything about the movie in that aspect, because I'm sure I had no doubt that they were gonna make it look good.
Yeah.
So I still have many, many reservations, but you're right. I mean, it did look.
I'm curious.
It looked like a fun movie.
Yeah.
So, we got to see. You get the first glimpse of Reed Richards finally being
manipulating space around his limbs. Apparently,
finally get a little first glimpse of him flexing out a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of get actually your first glimpse of all of them doing their thing. I know in the original trailer we did see a little bit of
the
Thing and
Johnny Storm.
Yeah, Storm.
Human Torch.
So we'll see. And at least for me, because I haven't super been following it, finally the question is answered. Are they adopted really? Because you finally see the dad. I didn't know who was playing him.
Oh, you didn't know? You know it was Reg Cathy? Man.
I was like, all right.
Yeah, it's Freddie from the House of Cards, and also he was in The Wire too.
They better have him opening up a rib joint at the end.
He's moved up in the world.
You can multitask.
He's like a world-renowned scientist.
Multitask.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think his rib days are over.
But it does look good. So we'll see. But I still have very dismal expectations for the story.
Jesus, all right.
I do. I don't expect. How can you possibly come to expect anything from that franchise at this point?
I guess. We also finally saw after multiple teases, we finally saw the look of the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad. And there's also the big news that broke this week is that a certain Playboy billionaire was seen in the area where they're shooting the film. So it's looking like you could be getting some Batman with your Suicide Squad.
Which is no stretch at all.
Oh yeah, that's not how they're all. I mean, they're practically all Batman villains anyway. Deadshot's a Batman villain, and Harley Quinn, Joker.
Actually, they maybe it wasn't a first look. For me, it was of Will Smith
He looked like, I mean, the picture, I'm like, it's like the 1970s or something like that? He's just like a pimp. I was like, nice. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he had, he had all the classic elements of
70s pimp culture.
Yeah.
Except it's a leather coat. It's a leather coat instead of.
He's got the eye thing going on and everything. So.
But anyway, Joker. I mean, okay. I mean, I think Leto will do a good job. I don't know how I feel about the look.
I was okay with the look. I expected something pretty drastically different from what we became accustomed to with Ledger, because they have to distance that.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, but see, Ledger was so different from the comic book version. I thought they were going to try and steer it more towards back to comic book.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries.
They sort of did. I mean, he's
I guess, but
all white painted and got super green hair. I mean, they sort of did.
He has all these tattoos on him, and I know you said that you read somewhere that they not be fine.
I haven't gone back to look to see that article, but I did read that actually the tattoos may not actually be. That may just have been a print to,
right?
But not actually in the movie.
The only thing that worries me about the Joker having all these tattoos, is that again it goes back to Frank Miller's work, All-Star Batman and Robin, where the Joker had this giant dragon tattoo on his back, and I'm like, oh god, and it just makes me worry about Wonder Woman.
And he's back.
Yeah, they're doing a third Dark Knight comic. I mean, technically you could say it's the fourth one, because All-Star Batman and Robin is literally like a prequel to The Dark Knight Returns, and then they did The Dark Knight Strikes Again, which was terrible.
Yeah, love him or hate him.
And now they're doing a third one, and Frank Miller has gone batshit crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward to that. It's probably gonna be terrible. But Joker, I think Leto will do fine.
He's got some crunked up teeth.
Yeah. I don't know what that's all about. But
yeah.
Again, all this does is it serves to make me worry about Wonder Woman and how they're gonna approach her and Batman and Superman. But we'll see what happens. I think acting wise, I think he'll do a fine job. But I did not like the whole, look at my transformation, look how it's going. I loved how Ledger got cast and you didn't see anything.
Yeah, I commented to you on that when they started doing it. It was really annoying how they just had these teasers of, hey, here's Leto prepping. Yeah. Here's some more prepping. I don't care. Just show me the finished product when it's out.
Exactly. And that's what they did with Ledger. They cast him, and then the next thing you know, there was that picture of just it was like a black backdrop, and it was just his face right up against like a super up close, and just that smeared lipstick all across his face, and it was a haunting picture. I was like, that's the Joker.
Yeah.
Leto is more, I think he's going more crazy than psychopath Joker, but we'll see.
They did the funny parody of Ben Affleck.
Oh, that was hilarious. So a lot of people were complaining that the Joker tattoos were a little on the nose for the Joker.
Like a whole half of his body just a bunch of ha ha ha.
Yeah. So what somebody did is they took a shirtless picture of Ben Affleck and they put like on the nose Batman tattoos on him. I am Batman. Rachel.
Parents dead.
My parents are dead. I'm rich. It's like, it was hilarious. They may even had one that said Alfred on there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But that's the big comic book news, I guess. Comic book movie news, and let's get into the movies that we saw. One is in theaters now. The other one is not going to be out until June, but we saw a very early screening of it.
Yeah, so one was not originally widely released, and they're kind of doing it in stages a little bit. And I'm not really sure why, because it's
A24 Studios.
Yeah, it's just because
and it's an indie studio, and that's what they do.
But they really should think about changing that up a little bit, because this movie certainly deserved to be seen more.
Yeah, and we're talking about Ex Machina. You've probably seen the trailers for it, commercials for it, because it's getting a lot of press now. This is a movie that stars Domhnall Gleeson, one of our favorites, Oscar Isaac, another one of our favorites, and Alicia Vikander, who, as I mentioned in an earlier episode, I first became aware of her in Seventh Son, and now she's going to be all over the place.
That blockbuster.
Yeah, that blockbuster. She's going to be all over the place now, because this movie is pretty much, I think, going to be her breakout, because if it's not making a lot of box office, that's okay, because it's getting a lot of press.
Right.
And she's also going to show up in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. in August.
And at least critically, it's doing well. So.
Basically, Ex Machina the story about Domhnall Gleeson's character. His name's Caleb, and he's basically like a coder at this this super profitable tech company.
Liken it to Google,
Google,
but to the nth degree, basically.
Yeah, and he wins a company lottery to go to the founder's estate, which is like several square miles. I mean, this is like not even an estate. It's like he owns like a country or something.
Yeah, it's basically a state.
Yeah. So he's invited to go there to test out the founder's new tech that he has, but nobody knows what it is.
Actually, he doesn't even know that at first. Like, he thinks it's a contest just to go meet the guy because the guy's so reclusive.
Yes.
So he thinks he's just going to meet the guy. And then he comes to find out that the real reason he's there is to help test out the Oscar Isaac, who plays Nathan, who's he's there to help him test his new gadgets.
Yeah, and the gadget turns out to be a female android complete with an AI.
Right. So he's created the world's first AI.
And the android is played by Alicia Vikander, and her name is Ava. And basically, he tells Caleb that he is going to be the human element in a Turing test, which is when you communicate with an AI to see if it can pass for human, basically. And it's similar, I guess, to what they use in Blade Runner. Yeah, they use it. It's
pretty,
yeah. And Caleb is immediately taken with Ava, and hilarity ensues.
And seemingly vice versa.
Yes, and hilarity ensues. And we won't spoil too much of it for you because there's plenty of twists in this. It's a slow burn thriller, we'll say.
Yes, it's very slow burn, but you, at least for me, I never lost interest.
Oh no, yeah, me neither. Yeah, it was very good.
It is slow. It is slow for a thriller in that the action is very limited.
Right.
But the story is very well told.
Yeah, it's one of the best sci-fi movies in several years. I would put Interstellar up there as well because of the things that Interstellar did. The script was kind of a mess.
That was a grander scope of sci-fi.
But so this is one of the better sci-fi movies of the last few years.
And when we say sci-fi, that actually shouldn't scare anyone off who doesn't like sci-fi because it's not like crazy off the wall sci-fi. This is very grounded, possible future sci-fi.
Yeah.
Possible.
It's very topical.
Possible near future sci-fi.
Yeah, it's very topical, and the cast is great. Oscar Isaac, as I said, Oscar Isaac and Domhnall Gleeson. We love the two of them on this show,
and their rapport between each other is really good. Yeah,
I'm interested to see because they're both also going to be in Star Wars. Oscar Isaac, we already know from the trailers, but Domhnall Gleeson, we have no idea really who he's going to be.
We joke that this is basically the prequel
to Star Wars. And Alicia Vikander, she is fantastic in this movie as the android. She plays it as
they really changed the design of BB-8.
Yes, they did. She is curious, but not to the point where she's like childlike and like annoying.
Yeah,
like she's it's really, and she's sexy as hell too. I mean, she's really sexy.
Which to me was a little odd when I thought about it. Like some of the things she would ask but did not ask, like how much she knew versus didn't know, and why that line kind of felt weird for me.
Well, the one thing about the movie that gave it a negative in my column is that there are a few plot holes left by the end,
especially at the end.
And there's a lot of convenience, a little towards the end.
Yeah. I mean, when they're because at the end they're two distinct plans by two different people. Yet the one that ends up working really relied on the other one doing something that they weren't really supposed to do.
Right.
I guess you could say so. It's, convenient.
Yeah. So, but it's a great movie. I mean, it's really good. All I'll say is Red Room Dance Party. That was the best scene in the whole movie. That was great. And then
what was the term he used? I'm gonna.
I forget what he said, but
cut a rug on the dance floor,
something like that. But he's like, "I'll cut a rug on your face" or something.
No. He was playing off the term of what? Fuck! I'm gonna mess it up if I try to think about it. I'll come up with it later.
But you know, all I thought was like Don Gleason should have been like, "Did you like plan out this routine? Because this is pretty choreographed."
Yeah, him and his housekeeper, Kyoko.
Yeah, she was good. She was really good. She didn't say much, but she was really good.
Busted out doing some disco dancing.
Yeah. But it's a really good movie. Might be a little slow for some people, but I enjoyed it. It was very. It makes you think.
Yeah, it makes you think. You want to talk about
what
it
is
afterwards.
what is human and what can love exist between a man and a machine. Something that I.
Sure, it can. Ask the Japanese.
Something that I think is going to be explored in Avengers, perhaps. But anyway, that's just my comics knowledge seeping through. But yeah, definitely check out Ex Machina. It's playing everywhere right now. If you go to the theater and you don't have the kids with you, and you get locked out of Avengers, go see Ex Machina.
It's a real solid movie, and
but don't take the kids.
Very, it's very tight cast. There's only actually a few people on the screen ever. So,
yeah.
It's a good movie though. It's one we can't really talk about much without giving too much
stuff
away.
Yeah.
So just go see it.
And the other movie we saw recently is a film that I mentioned in our our 2015 summer movie preview. And we were lucky enough to get a screener. This movie is supposed to be coming out June 12th, and but we were lucky and got a screener, and it is me and Earl and the Dying Girl, and it is based on a novel.
It's a laugh riot.
Actually, it is. It is. It's a very, very funny movie. It's based on the novel by Jesse Andrews, and he also wrote the screenplay. And it's directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon, and it's a funny movie. It's a touching movie. It's very it's all the emotions, and it focuses on Greg, who's played by Thomas Mann, and he's a high school senior and kind of a loner. He keeps his distance from people.
Yeah,
doesn't let people in.
He's a loner, but he chooses that. He chooses that because he's got keeps his finger in all the different groups.
Right. And he is forced by his mother, who's played by Connie Britton, to befriend a classmate who has been diagnosed with leukemia.
Played by Olivia Cook.
That's Rachel, played by Olivia Cook, who is on Bates Motel, and she was in The Signal. And I'm writing my review, and I'm like, can we get this girl a role where she's healthy?
She's typecast as a sick girl.
She's a sick girl now. But yeah, she's been diagnosed with leukemia, so Greg is forced to go over and hang out with her, which she is all too thrilled about. And
yeah, both of them are almost forced to do this.
Yeah.
But they quickly become friends.
Yeah, they do. And they've been hanging out for a little while, and Rachel, I want to call her Alicia from the other movie, but Rachel discovers that Greg actually does have a friend that he calls his coworker. And that is Earl, played by R.J. Seiler, and
who's great. He's great,
and Earl. The reason why he is called Greg's coworker is because Earl explains it perfectly. He says he don't like calling anybody his friend. But we make movies together, and Rachel's like, "What?" Yeah. And
so they make they're not really remakes. They reimagine like popular movies.
Yeah, with different with slightly altered titles.
So like instead of Midnight Cowboy, they had 2:48 p.m. Cowboy.
Yeah, right.
It's hilarious. But they're really funny. You get to see a couple of those.
Yeah.
But the idea then becomes in this movie that they're going to make a movie for Rachel,
right?
To give to her before she dies,
right?
And that's kind of
it's to cheer her up.
That's kind of what runs the plot of the movie.
You've also got Nick Offerman plays Greg's father.
So funny.
And
He's
he is
not your typical Nick Offerman character.
Yeah. He's like a tenured sociology professor, so he never goes to work basically. But I will say that one parent who outfunnied him was Rachel's creepy mother, played by Molly Shannon,
who, to her credit, did not annoy me in this role because she annoys me in almost everything.
She was hilarious. Though.
She was.
She's like, this lady's like always drunk basically, and she's like flirting with
hitting
the boys.
on the young boys.
It's creepy. Yeah. But and then you also have a girl named Catherine C. Hughes who plays Madison, who is basically Greg's dream girl in high school.
Which is interesting. That's an interesting dynamic they have because he's like he considers her the unattainable girl that he can't get, but you come to realize if he actually put effort into his relationships in general,
right,
it would probably be possible for him to get someone like that.
That's part of the issue I had with it. That seemed a little too easy. I wanted to see more of their relationship to make that a little bit more
well,
believable.
but see, I considered that a very subplot, if you will. Even
no, yeah. So but I mean,
it was just to kind of get into your head. Oh, he could, if he just played his cards differently, if he just chose to be a little more riskier, if you will, then he could actually have real friends.
Right.
But he just paints. He basically has no self-esteem. He sees himself as a very low person, and so because he does, he's very risk averse in every relationship he has.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to piss anyone off.
Right.
Also, John Bernthal.
Yeah,
John really good role.
Yeah, John Bernthal shows up in this as their favorite
teacher. Yeah.
And that was another thing that kind of like the one thing I did like about this movie is that it's very unique and fresh.
Yeah. With
the way they did it, but also the world they inhabit is also. But the high school was almost too unique to be believable. Like I was like, where is this high school? Like some old, like in Norman Bates' house or something like that.
You mean like in terms of the cliques? Or how
no, not the cliques. No, the cliques were fine, right. but it was like the actual school itself. Like
the physical
teacher,
school.
Yeah, like the teacher had he has like this office.
Yeah.
Like it's like
that's true. It wasn't like it wasn't like a teacher's lounge.
Yeah.
It was like a high school teacher's office.
Yeah.
With
it was almost like it was like a college mixed with a high school.
That was odd. That didn't make much sense.
Yeah. So it's like that took me out of it a little bit, and also the other issue I had with the movie, which I loved. I mean, I love this movie. It's one of the best movies of the year I've seen so far. But one of the other nagging issues I had was you do have a case of unreliable narrator, which was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil it.
Comes in and out at.
Well, no. Just he tries to lead you one way, and
okay.
That was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. Well, I don't want to. I have my reasons for why I think that is, but I won't give it away because it'll.
Right.
It's not a big twist, like you said, because it's unnecessary.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's unnecessary. All it was making me think was that something else was going to happen. I was like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. And
I think the reason that was done was for his character.
I guess. Yeah.
But I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
It still was unnecessary. But I don't. For me, it didn't really hinder things.
Right. Oh no. Yeah.
I actually kind of figured I figured that something was going to happen to change that narration anyway.
Right.
But yeah, like you mentioned, we're just being kind of nitpicky here because this is a fantastic. movie.
It really is. I mean, there were a lot of
movie.
Best movie of
the year so far, kind of. I think I might have
because technically, We Are the Shadows was last year.
Right. Oh yeah, If I was dumping What We Do in the Shadows in there,
yeah.
But no, this actually is definitely if not the best movie, is definitely right there at the front.
I mean, it was a big hit at Sundance, and but it's really good.
Real sweet movie.
It's real sweet, funny, real funny.
Yeah, we laughed a lot.
And but there were a lot of people crying in that theater by the end. And it was really, really good.
Also, you go to see a movie that has "Dying Girl" in the title. I expect some tears, maybe.
Also, look out for Bobby J. Thompson, who was in Role Models.
Hmm.
He was the little kid in Role Models, and he's all grown up now, and he plays Earl's brother. He has some good lines when he pops up.
Good, yeah.
I'll kick your ass. Kick your ass, Greg. But
then we
definitely
think your suit made us high. Why do you think that? Well, because we haven't had anything else except the cookies that we bought off of the drug dealer.
Oh. So definitely, when it comes out in June, definitely check out Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. It is well worth your time.
Yeah, I know you really enjoyed the trailer, which you showed me, and I thought it looked really good too. But I did not expect it to be this good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a definite sleeper that everyone should kind of look out for.
Right, yeah. I mean, I got it mainly from Collider. I think that they reviewed it from Sundance, and they're like, definitely check this movie out. It's really,
Yeah,
really
it really is. The whole cast did a great job.
Yeah.
There wasn't any sinkers in the whole thing.
Yeah,
So.
it was really, really good.
I'm not sure if it'll. This is an indie film, so it likely won't be released like widely.
Probably
not.
Get
the same treatment as Ex Machina, maybe even at a lower level than that. But it shouldn't. And
wasn't it the same company that wasn't? Didn't A24 do this too? I think.
I didn't think this was A24. Was
I can't remember. It might have been.
I don't remember. But if you do happen to see it around your area, watch it.
Yeah, definitely go see it. It's like I said. There was a what's that other movie called? The Fault in Our Stars authors. New movie, Paper Town.
Oh yeah, Paper Town.
Like, because this is also technically a young adult novel. I guess they call it a young adult novel because it stars teenagers. It's got some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. Define young adult novel because these characters are teenage. I mean, this story is pretty relatable at any age.
But this movie. I mean, from the trailer I saw for Paper Town so far, I'm like, this movie is.
I haven't seen anything about Paper Town.
Far superior, and Paper Towns is definitely gonna get like a wide release of that.
So, I mean, it's got a huge banner in the movie theater. I'm talking like wall-sized banner.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish this was the movie getting.
Yeah, I can't speak to Paper Town, but this deserves that kind of treatment.
I guess before we wrap this up, I do want to mention we talked about this the other night. We went to dinner and talked about this.
Yeah, we did. I have no idea what you're talking.
They say that now is the golden age of television. If you like comedy, it truly is the golden age of television. I was catching up on some DVR stuff, and there is a ton of great comedy out there. If you're not watching it, you gotta tune in for some of this stuff. We're talking Veep, Silicon Valley.
Those two shows, those are both HBO shows, and
Stellar.
Out of the park funny.
Stellar.
I mean, Silicon Valley was funny last season. This season it's even funnier. Like last season, it was a solid show, very solid show. But there were parts in it that were just in each episode that would be funny. This season, it's just all funny, all good, like so much better. And Veep constantly is building on itself.
Oh, Veep is. Veep is like freaking hilarious. I'm dying when I watch Veep. How does he do that? How does he smile with both his teeth? But and also Louis. If you follow Louis on FX, Louis C.K. show, last season was kind of like an experimental season for him. He did a lot of drama. They were almost more like short films. Than
they really were, and they were not funny.
But this season, but although I will say the last episode was.
That's what I was about to say. He's actually. This is kind of a marriage of last season and his stuff he's done before,
right?
And it's working very well.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, there's the scene where the opening scene that he did, I guess 2 episodes ago, where he's got to take a crap and, and he's trying to walk.
This is the
to his apartment, trying to walk to his apartment with his daughters, and then he just gives up, and his daughter's like, "No, Daddy, no!"
God.
So funny.
Yeah.
But and then also beyond that, and unfortunately, this is the last episode of this season for this show is coming up this Sunday. Last Man on Earth with Will Forte. I felt it's kind of lost a little steam.
I was about to use the exact same phrasing. Yeah, it's lost some steam.
And the only reason why is because his character is getting to the point where I just feel like
obnoxious.
I'm just like, dude, just leave. Just fucking leave.
He would.
It's like you hate these people. Just leave. But it is still a funny show.
The only thing I wish they do differently at this point of that show, and I really, really wish they would, is almost every episode, if not every other episode, introduce a new character. Just have someone just to play on that title, because clearly they're doing that anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So they should really go overboard with it.
Yeah.
And just almost every episode have a new person come into the town until they clearly have like a whole town and it's all against him.
Right. But it's a really, really funny show though. Last Man on Earth. The first several episodes were great. I think there was only like about 8 episodes or something like that. I think total. And that's finishing up this Sunday. But if you love comedy, check it out on TV.
Game of Thrones comedy. Woo!
Hey, Tyrion had some great lines last week.
I guess.
I have to get out of this wheelhouse.
I did not. I'm just actually becoming more distant from that show. I can't explain why. It's just. I mean, I partially know why. It's that subgenre of anything that's medieval or something like that. For whatever reason, I eventually just.
It's not your thing.
It's just not my thing. But
you didn't play Dungeons and Dragons,
right?
Really.
I mean, you can't deny the quality of that program.
Oh, it's fantastic! I love that show. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
So that's still a great show, and that's just started back up. So,
yeah. And I need to catch up on the last 3 episodes of Person of Interest, which I'm gonna do this weekend because the finale is coming up on Tuesday.
Oh, don't I know it? I'm all caught up.
Oh, I gotta catch up because I've been saving them. For
I wanted
this.
to talk to you about that, but I guess I won't.
It'll be next time. We'll talk next time. Yeah. I'm guessing that next episode we will probably have Matt King here to dissect the Avengers 2. And then eventually we're gonna have to bring him in here to talk Daredevil. We could do both, I guess, maybe because Daredevil. I mean. You can talk about it, but we don't really have to do a whole episode.
Did he finally finish?
He did.
Matt King, did you finally finish Daredevil?
He did.
All right.
And Netflix finally revealed some of their numbers, and Daredevil's a hit.
Shocking.
House of Cards is a hit, and Daredevil. And Daredevil's been renewed.
I like to call it the Kingpin Show. Fisk's show.
Yeah, and Daredevil's been renewed for season 2. So the mystery about Daredevil that we had, we were like, is it going to get renewed, or are they just going to go to Defenders? It is getting renewed for a second season,
and it's good that they are renewing that because
you'd lose all the momentum if you didn't.
Well, you would, but like
people might not like the other
clearly
ones.
The way that show's being written is very thoughtful, and that they're not freaking revealing everything at once. Like it's very slow to give you all of Daredevil, if you will, and that's real smart. It keeps you wanting more. Yeah,
and of course the other thing is that Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, people might not like them. I mean, they might be like, eh. No, I'm just saying some people might.
Did
not
you
like
not
them.
know that David Tennant is going to be in AKA Jessica Jones
as the not so purple man?
Look, probably, most likely not so purple. Maybe a fuchsia.
That's pink.
Yeah. But you're right. This was more the
this was more a short thing.
Staple.
Yeah, it was more a short thing.
More of a broader audience because they had already tried the movie with Affleck before. So
right. Did you see the new picture of Affleck as Batman?
Yes.
That they took the Superman graffiti off of him.
Yeah.
Looks like Batman.
I'm telling you.
Looks like Batman.
I naysayed that for like half a day before I said, "Hey, wait a minute. Why would I think that he couldn't play Batman? I like Ben Affleck. He knows how to act when he wants to.
Right.
And I've said the same thing almost about every Batman that's come around.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton. Granted, I was really young, but I was like, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Christian Bale. I was like, I don't know.
Oh no! See, I thought Christian Bale was going to nail it. I thought he was going to nail it.
I have never been on board with initially.
Right.
With anyone they cast in roles like this. But there's no reason for anyone to think that Ben Affleck can't do this.
I will say this, though. The way his mouth is, he kind of looks a little bit like Adam Sandler.
That's the twist. It's
yes,
actually
that's the twist.
Actually got Adam Sandler.
That'd be a terrible movie. Coming soon to Netflix, apparently. With no Native American people, because they told Adam Sandler to fuck himself.
They all walked out on it.
But yeah, so next episode will definitely be Avengers: Age of Ultron, and possibly Daredevil discussion as well.
No strings attached.
There are no strings on me, and except at my job. Oh. I have to get out of this wheelhouse. We will see you next time, folks. Thanks for listening.